Hi. Is Kyle Rittenhouse guilty of murder or manslaughter? Or murder too? There are other degrees to manslaughter, right? I don't know exactly. I have studied the law extremely little, and especially the law in, Kenosha, Wisconsin. I know nothing about, virtually nothing. However, if I were to live in Kenosha and Kyle Rittenhouse were put on trial, given a jury trial, there's a chance. There is an actual chance that I would be one of 12 people deciding whether or not he's guilty. Now, of course, I wouldn't be making that decision in a vacuum, right? I would have trained lawyers, two at least, try and convince me that they're correct. Not that they're correct, actually. That the side they've been assigned to argue for is correct. You see, one of them, trained in rhetoric and in argumentation, as he is going to try and convince me that Kyle Rittenhouse was in the right in doing what he did. One of them is going to try and convince me that he was in the wrong. Only one of them can be correct. I don't have the training to understand if they're getting into my head in a way that they've been trained to. I lack the skill set to recognize that. Often, especially when hundreds of thousands of dollars have been donated to the defendant, their lawyer is actually going to be the better of the lawyers, and they've got a good chance that they're going to get out. Meanwhile, if you can't really afford someone who's that convincing, jury might swing for the other guy. You see, the jury isn't a panel of experts. It's not a panel of legally trained scholars who are determining whether or not this case constitutes guilt. It's a bunch of laymen being convinced by professionals. And that's not how you get a decent result, especially since the innate biases present in the community are going to come out in full force if you're talking about a jury trial. If you have a place that is insanely racist, guess what's happening to every black person on trial? They're guilty. They're guilty by their skin color. And as much as jury selection will get rid of the most egregious of the racists, trying to claim that you aren't racist at all, if you grew up white in North America or Europe especially, is gonna be challenging to do properly, because chances are, yeah, you've got some innate, ingrained racial biases that are affecting your decision making that you may or may not be able to consciously recognize. We have this tendency to democratize things and make them fair by just doing away with the concept of expertise and leaving the decision up to the masses. And as much as I'm not one to completely dismiss the people, I also vehemently disagree with this dismissal of expertise. There are people we trained to study the law. There are people who are well placed to understand whether, him feeling like he's in danger constitutes reason for self-defense, and if that negates the fact that he shouldn't have had the gun in the first place, or should he? Because there's a debate about that, given the letter of the law in America as well. Nobody is placed to make that decision fully, but even less so, just random people who have never thought about the law in their entire lives. But that's our whole society. That's what we defer to all the time, just the mass. And what does the mass think? You might think this is a good idea, but I guarantee that you didn't come to that conclusion on your own, because next time we're going to be talking about the fact that if you actually made up your own mind fully and properly, marketing wouldn't exist, and we certainly wouldn't spend billions of dollars on it every single year. Anyways, unless you're a legal scholar, you really have no business doing the law. Next time we're going to discuss why even legal scholars have a problem, and maybe you shouldn't give anybody that much power over a person. Think on that, leave me a comment, like, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff, ring the bell, whatever. Have a good night.